Welcome to Moms on Mics. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
February is the month of red. Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Love is in the air. Hearts are filled with excitement and romance is everywhere. Blah. Sorry, I
Right?
am adding that
Yeah.
one again.
Don't edit that out.
I won't. Valentine's Day. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Anyway, there are lots of red flags that have been romanticized by movies, songs, or simply older generations. Like little girls were once told that if a boy was being mean to her, that meant he liked her. While that may have been the case sometimes, that's a very dangerous lesson for a little girl to be told. But what about beyond that? What are the red flags that we should be looking for? And what are things that we should be looking for in relationships that are not healthy?
Overly controlling behavior is a red flag in relationships. Controlling behavior is harmful because it slowly removes your autonomy, confidence, and sense of self, often without obvious force. It doesn't just affect the relationship, it affects how you think, feel, function over time. Control tells you directly or indirectly that you can't be trusted to make your own decisions about things like what you wear, who you see, how you spend money, and what you say or think. Healthy adults need agency. When it's taken away, you start deferring, shrinking, and doubting yourself. It creates chronic anxiety. Living under control means constantly anticipating reactions, walking on eggshells, overthinking everything you do. Your nervous system stays in fight or flight. Long term, this leads to anxiety, sleep problems, depression, and even physical illness, and erodes self-esteem. Control often comes with criticism disguised as guidance, micromanagement, making you feel incapable. You internalize the belief that you're the problem. Confidence fades, and independence feels scary instead of empowering. It replaces love with fear or obligation. Instead of choosing your partner freely, you begin acting to avoid conflict, keeping the peace, prevent withdrawal, or punishment. Love should be voluntary. When fear or guilt replaces choice, the relationship becomes coercive, even without yelling or threats. Controlling partners often isolate you from support, undermine your friends or family, create tension around social plans, and make you feel guilty for outside connections. Isolation makes control stronger and escape harder. Humans need community to stay grounded in reality. Control often involves distorted reality, gaslighting, rewriting events, and minimizing your feelings. You lose trust in your own perceptions. This makes manipulation easier and leaving much harder. Control rarely stays the same. It tends to escalate over time by expanding into new areas, become more restrictive, and intensify when challenged. What starts as concern can evolve into emotional abuse, financial abuse, or worse. Ask yourself, do I feel more myself or less around this person? Do I act from choice or from fear of reaction? Am I growing or shrinking? If control is present, you don't feel safer, you feel smaller.
Have any of you ever been in a controlling relationship?
Maybe not a relationship, but my mother.
Yeah, I was in a very, very, very controlling, not physically abusive, but like mentally abusive relationship. And he would like follow me places and
Oh my
it was,
God.
oh yeah, it was really, really bad. He would watch me like he watched
What?
every step I made. And then he would tell me later, I know you went here and I know what you were wearing.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. One time me and my mom went shopping and he was so mad about something I did the night before because I went out the night before and we went shopping and he showed up to the place we were shopping at. I don't even remember what it was called, but and he showed up and he lost it and he started like throwing stuff off the shelves and
Oh my God.
yeah, there was even a point where he took my ID from me so I wouldn't go
What?
far. Yeah.
Oh my
It was pretty
Jesus.
intense. It was pretty intense. Yeah, it was really, really bad.
Yikes. That's brutal. I mean, I got married at 16, so any relationship I had
I guess.
prior doesn't
Yeah.
really count. I wouldn't say my husband's controlling, but I remember when we were first together, there was one time, and I'm like, you're controlling me because I would have been like 17. I got my ear pierced at the top, and he was like, take that out. I don't like that. I'm like, you're controlling me. How dare you? And I ended up taking it out, and I thought about that for I'm like, he's so controlling. That's all it was. So he was not, no, he was not controlling, but my 17-year-old brain was like, don't you dare tell me, no, you're not my dad. But yeah, not controlling at all. But no, not like, Jesus, what you went through. That's awful.
It was awful. Like I was still in high school, so he would like show up to my high school, and I remember hopping in my friend's car and like ducking and hiding.
Oh my
And she would
God.
like drive away. Oh yeah, like it was pretty bad.
Oh,
It was
that
pretty bad.
is awful.
It was a very, very bad way. He would pretend this was the worst. So he'd get mad at me for something, and then he would be sitting there and he would pretend to like look like he was in a daze. Like he'd just look off into space and like not answer me and not talk to me. And
Oh my
like he was
God.
just super, super weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I got
fucked
out of
up.
that really quickly, but he did that with every other girl. Like he still, like his relationships, they're not
Not
like
healthy at all.
yeah, and he doesn't stay in relationships for very long
Yeah,
because of how he is. And I know that he was abused as a child as well. So there's
right.
that. But yeah. Like I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't
Yeah,
ever talk to him, but so I know, but like every month it's like in a relationship and then in a relationship and then in a relationship and then you
yeah,
grow all the time, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I can see you clearly haven't changed, right?
right. Some people are just meant to be single.
Yeah. And then there's my husband now who literally does not give a shit about anything. Like nothing. He's out of town this weekend and he's like, I've barely talked to him. I could have gone out as much as I want and he
Yeah,
doesn't care. He's like, whatever, right?
as it should be, right? You trust
Yeah,
each other.
yeah,
You know what, you
yeah,
know what he
yeah,
would be comfortable with. He knows what you're comfortable with. That's
yeah,
the way it should be.
yeah, yeah.
I've had a friend kind of do the same thing. We weren't in a relationship, but he was so obsessed with me that I came home one day and he was sitting at my table with my mom and my dad.
Oh
Oh my,
yeah.
weird.
And I didn't even walk in the house. I was like, I'm hanging out till you guys get rid of him.
No shit. Yikes, that's weird.
Yeah, I was like, nope.
Lack of trust and respect doesn't just cause arguments. It solely breaks the foundation of a relationship, even if love is present. Without trust and respect, the relationship becomes unstable, exhausting, and unsafe emotionally. The relationship loses its foundation without trust and respect. Trust is the belief that your partner is safe, honest, and reliable. Respect is the belief that your partner is equal, capable, and worthy. Without them, every disagreement feels threatening. Love becomes conditional and the relationship feels fragile instead of secure. Constant suspicion replaces peace. The lack of trust leads to accusations and checking behaviors, reading into tone, timing, and texts, and being defensive over small things. You're never relaxed, you're always bracing. When respect is missing, it can destroy your self-worth. Your opinions are dismissed. Your feelings are minimized. You're talking down to or ignored. You begin questioning your value, not to just them, but to yourself. Communication becomes unsafe. Without trust and respect, honesty feels risky. Vulnerability gets punished, and conflict turns into power struggles. You stop speaking freely and start self-censoring. It creates power imbalances. Lack of respect often shows up as one partner knowing better, one voice dominating decisions, and control disguised as leadership. Equality disappears. One person shrinks while the other expands. Intimacy suffers. Trust and respect are prerequisites for intimacy. When they're gone, emotional closeness fades, physical intimacy feels forced or disconnected, and resentment replaces desire. Everything becomes a test. You may notice love being earned, good behavior being rewarded, and mistakes being stored and reused. The relationship feels like probation, not partnership. The silent damage. The most damaging part isn't the fights, it's the internal shift. You stop expecting kindness, you normalize being dismissed, and you lose clarity about what's healthy. that's how people stay far longer than they should.
Yeah, that one sounds absolutely awful.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine living like that.
Right?
That would be, yeah.
I mean, I know that I'm a very jealous person and like I've got better, but I like when we were first married, I was very, very jealous. I did not handle shit well. And I know that that was my lack of self-confidence and stuff, but it was never a fact that I didn't trust him. I was just jealous all the time.
I'm jealous all the time. Did you see my Instagram story?
No.
When an old friend of your husband's, who's a female, walks up to your husband and says, "Oh, hey, nice to see you. We should catch up." And there's me in the background pulling my gun out.
I saw that one.
I'm just not. I am the most jealous person ever. Like, you
Right?
even look in his direction. It's like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Exactly. Oh, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. Like, I've always been that way. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
he deals with it, so.
Yeah, mine too, actually. I'm sure it comes from some childhood trauma of not being something enough, hugged enough, told
Maybe.
or loved enough, whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
right? There's some,
Like,
it stems from
pretty
something
much
like that.
abandoned as a child
Yeah.
by my father, right? So, and always
Yeah.
being told you're worthless, you're not, so then it gets to your head and you actually think that about yourself. And no matter how much he loves me and shows me that I can trust him, I still am very jealous. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
right there with you. Physical, emotional, and mental abuse are undeniable red flags in any relationship. Physical abuse is easier to pick up on, obviously, but emotional and mental abuse can be just as damaging in the long run. And just like physical abuse, mental and emotional abuse can cause PTSD. Emotional and mental abuse isn't always as clear as physical abuse. Sometimes they use subtle mind games like gaslighting. They deny things that you clearly remember. Say, "You're too sensitive. That never happened," or "You're imagining things." And eventually you start doubting your memory, perception, or sanity. You stop trusting yourself and rely on them for reality. They could be shifting blame constantly. Every issue somehow becomes your fault. Their anger is blamed on your tone, timing, or reaction. Apologies, if any, end up with, "But you made me." That's such a dick thing. "I'm sorry that I was mean to you, but you made me." Fuck off.
Yeah.
God damn. You learn to take responsibility for their behavior. Are they withholding affection as punishment, giving you the silent treatment? Do they use emotional coldness after disagreements? Love, sex, or kindness only return when you comply. Eventually, you associate love with obedience, control disguised as care. "I just worry about you." Questions your clothing, friends, or choices. Wants constant updates on where you are. Gets upset when you're independent. Surveillance masquerades as concern. Isolating you slowly. Makes comments about your friends or family. Creates tension before or after you see others and encourages you to rely on them. You lose support systems without noticing. Financial control, criticizes spending, but controls shared money, keeps finances secret, and makes you feel incapable of managing money. You feel trapped or dependent. Attacks on identity and self-worth, subtle put-downs, jokes, insults disguised as humor, public embarrassment followed by "I was kidding," and compliments with a sting attached. Your confidence erodes while they stay blameless. Constant criticism disguised as help. "I'm just trying to help you be better." Focuses on your flaws, never your strengths, and moves the goalposts. Nothing is ever enough. You internalize the belief that you are fundamentally lacking, making you feel hard to love. Says you're too much or too emotional. Suggests no one else would tolerate you, and frames their mistreatment as patience. You stay because you fear being unloved. Emotional confusion tactics, hot and cold behavior, loving one day and distant the next. No explanation for emotional shifts, and you're always trying to get back to good. You become emotionally hyper-vigilant, weaponizing vulnerability, uses things you shared in confidence against you, and brings up your past mistakes or trauma during conflict. You stop opening up and start shutting down. Playing the victim. They are always the one hurt, cry, or shut down when confronted, and you end up comforting them after they hurt you. Your pain is never addressed. The biggest red flag of all, if you find yourself constantly explaining or justifying their behavior, feeling smaller, quieter, or less confident than before, walking on eggshells, or thinking, if I just communicate better, they'll change. That's not a communication problem. That's a power imbalance. Nobody ever has the right to use you as a scapegoat for their own problems. Those should be dealt with constructively and fairly. Abuse is never an acceptable response to a problem.
I think the emotional abuse needs to be talked about a little bit more because I feel like it's not talked about enough.
Oh, for sure.
Like they see physical, it's very common physical, but what about the other ones? Like they're not talked about half as much as the physical.
Oh, exactly. And I think because physical, you can see there's a problem, right? Like you see the bruises or the whatever, and it's like, nope, that's definitely a problem. But the emotional, I find that maybe they mess with their heads so much, you're like, but maybe it is me, or maybe I did something wrong, or maybe it's the way I did, instead of looking at it as and seeing it for what it is, that they're the ones causing the problems.
Well, and it's also the people on the outside, right? They go, "Oh, well, he's such a nice guy. How could that happen?"
Yes, yeah.
And it's like, so then they get that in their head too, and then you're like, "Well, is it really me? Is it not?"
Yeah.
You start to doubt yourself and question, like it's very manipulating. Right?
Yeah. Oh,
That's
for
what
sure.
they're doing is they're manipulating you to feel a certain way, right? You doubt yourself, you question yourself,
And it's like the thing, right? If someone tells you enough times that you're a certain way, you start to believe it, right? So it's hard to get that out of your mind. And when the highs are so high, you start to think, okay, well, maybe this isn't so bad then. Everything is great, right? Like they're happy, we're getting along good, everything is great. And then there'll be a low, which is when they're being abusive, and you're like, no, this is horrible. But if that period is shorter than the highs, then you start to question if it's all in your head, or if it's like, is it really that bad? Like maybe everybody has problems, kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
You don't really see it for what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Lack of emotional support is harmful because relationships are meant to be a place of safety and connection. When that support is missing, you may not always notice right away, but over time it can quietly damage your mental health, self-worth, and ability to function in a relationship. You feel alone even though you're not alone. When your partner dismisses your feelings, minimizes your stress by saying things like, just stop worrying, or it's really not a big deal, changes the subject when you're vulnerable. You start carrying everything by yourself. Loneliness inside a relationship is often more painful than being single. Emotional needs get reframed as too much. A lack of support often sounds like you're overreacting. Just get over it. Why are you always upset? You begin suppressing emotions instead of processing them, leading to anxiety, depression, or emotional numbness. Your nervous system never feels safe. Emotional support helps regulate stress. Without it, you're always self-soothing. You never feel fully understood, and you stay in survival mode. Chronic stress affects sleep, focus, mood, and physical health. Self-worth slowly erodes when your inner world doesn't matter to your partner. You stop sharing, you stop expecting care, and you question your value. Feeling unseen teaches you that your needs are unimportant. Communication breaks down without emotional support. Vulnerability feels unsafe. Conversations become surface level, and conflicts turn cold or dismissive. Emotional intimacy can't survive without empathy. You carry the relationship alone. You may notice you're the only one doing emotional labor. You're the one trying to connect, and you're managing both people's feelings. Relationships are partnerships, not solo performances. Resentment builds quietly when support is missing. You give more than you receive. You feel taken for granted, and small things start feeling heavy. Unspoken resentment eventually kills closeness. A simple check-in, ask yourself, do I feel comforted or dismissed when I open up? Do I feel supported or like a burden? Do I feel emotionally connected or emotionally alone? If you can consistently feel alone, that's not a personality flaw, it's a relationship issue.
So this one, I feel like I might do this. No, I feel like I'm not good with emotional stuff and that kind of like, I don't know, I'm just not good with emotions. I don't like them. They make me feel icky. I try not to talk about them. So I think I may not that I am not that I am emotionally abusive to my husband. Obviously, I'm not a complete cunt, but I just feel like maybe I don't maybe support him emotionally. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing. I'm like reading as Cash as you're reading it. I'm like, oh, uh-oh, oh, 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 my bad. I'm like, oh. Like, oh no.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just not good with emotions, I think, and I don't have a lot of them. I don't know how to process them very well, so I feel like maybe anyone's guilty of that. That might be me.
I
Oops.
think anyone with trauma too would be guilty of it.
Yeah.
Like some sort of childhood trauma and that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember when I was getting in trouble and being disciplined for it, my thing was, well, I'm not gonna cry because I noticed that my dad got some satisfaction when I cried. I'm like, I'm not giving you that satisfaction. Fuck that, man. I can keep this shit inside. So I learned to just not demonstrate emotions very well. And in fact, if I start crying, like hormonally, obviously, there's only so much females can do with those stupid hormones that we get. So sometimes shit makes me like start to cry and I get infuriated. I'm like, how dare you tears leak out of those eyeballs? Like I get so mad. So I just feel like me and emotions are not good. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Substance abuse is harmful in a relationship because it changes priorities, behavior, and emotional availability, often turning the relationship into a cycle of instability, broken trust, and unmet needs. Even when love exists, addiction tends to overpower it. The substance becomes the third partner. Addiction shifts focus away from the relationship. The substance comes first. Plans revolve around use, recovery, or fallout, and emotional energy is diverted elsewhere. A relationship can't thrive when it's competing with a chemical dependency. Trust breaks down as substance abuse often involves lying or hiding use, broken promises like I'll stop just this once, and inconsistent behavior. Trust requires reliability. Repeated breaches create chronic insecurity and suspicion. Substances numb or distort emotions, making them emotionally unavailable. You may experience detachment or emotional flatness, mood swings or irritability, and lack of empathy or responsiveness. You end up feeling alone, unseen, and unsupported, especially during hard moments. Many relationships fall into a pattern of cycles of chaos and calm. Use, conflict, apology, short calm, relapse. The unpredictability keeps you in survival mode, constantly bracing for the next crisis. Partners of someone with substance abuse issues are often told, "You're the reason I drink or use. If you didn't stress me out, I wouldn't need this. You're overreacting. It's not that bad." You start questioning your reality and taking responsibility for something you didn't cause. Substance abuse can lead to financial and practical harm, money disappearing, missed work or job loss, and legal or medical costs. Financial instability adds stress and can trap partners in unsafe situations. Role reversal and emotional exhaustion while you become the caretaker, doing all the cover up to hide the problem and being the peacekeeper. You stop being a partner and start being a manager, parent, or protector, leading to burnout and resentment. Living with substance abuse can have a huge impact on your mental health, causing anxiety and hypervigilance, depression or numbness, and loss of self-esteem. Your well-being slowly deteriorates while the focus stays on the addiction. Substance abuse increases the likelihood of verbal or emotional abuse, physical aggression, or reckless or unsafe behavior. Even if abuse isn't constant, the risk alone changes how safe you feel. In families, children may feel unsafe or unpredictable, take on adult responsibilities too early, and normalize unhealthy coping. Kids absorb instability even when adults try to hide it.
Yeah, that's a really shitty situation to be in, especially as a child.
Yeah.
It really sucks when your parent is a fucking alcoholic or drug addict or whatever.
It really sucks because
Yeah.
you never know. In my case, you never know when he's going to snap,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
1 second he can be happy, and the next second he can be like smashing everything in the house, right? And you never know when that snap was going to happen. You know it is going to happen. You just don't know when. It's crazy. And as a child living in that, it's very scary.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's very scary, especially when you're an only child and you have nobody to turn to. You're always by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's not great.
It's not. And it teaches, I don't know, it teaches kids to just almost be fearful of everything, not to rely on everything, never to feel safe because shit
Yeah.
could change any minute, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. Narcissistic behavior is harmful in a relationship because it centers power, validation, and control around one person, while slowly eroding the other person's identity, emotional safety, and sense of reality. The damage often happens quietly over time rather than all at once. Your needs stop mattering in narcissistic dynamics. Their feelings take priority. Your needs are minimized, ignored, or mocked, and support flows one direction only. A relationship without mutual care becomes emotionally neglectful and one-sided. Reality gets distorted, gaslighting. Common patterns include denying things they said or did, rewriting events to favor themselves, and telling you you're too sensitive, crazy, or imagining things. You lose trust in your own perceptions and become dependent on them for truth. Love becomes conditional. Affection is often tied to compliance, admiration, and meeting their expectations. You may experience praise when you please them and coldness or punishment when you don't. You stop being yourself and start performing for approval. You tend to get chronic anxiety and hypervigilance due to the narcissistic behavior, often including mood swings, unpredictable reactions, and explosive or silent punishments. You're always on edge, scanning for what might upset them next. This takes a serious toll on mental and physical health. Accountability is absent, and they provide apologies, blame you for their behavior, and portray themselves as the victim. Problems never get solved. They repeat while you carry the emotional burden. They may be subtle or overt. Devaluation over time. You may notice criticism disguised as jokes, comparison to others, and undermining your confidence. Your self-esteem erodes, making it harder to leave or push back. Narcissistic partners often isolate you from support by undermine your friends or family, create conflicts around outside relationships, and position themselves as the only one who truly understands you. Isolation strengthens their control and weakens your reality checks. Many narcissistic relationships follow this pattern, and the cycle keeps you hooked. Idealization, intense love, attention, followed by devotion, criticism, withdrawal, then discard or threat of loss, then hoovering, pulling you back in. The emotional highs and lows create trauma bonds that are hard to break. You start shrinking. One of the clearest signs: you speak less, you doubt yourself more, and you suppress needs, opinions, and emotions. A healthy relationship helps you grow, not disappear. Cash, you got experience with narcissism.
I was just gonna say it's just as bad for children as it is like a substance abuse.
Yeah.
Because they do the same thing. Like I was always told as a kid, you're the milkman's child. I don't know where you came from, You were the milkman's child. You were born under a Cabbage Patch leaf.
My parents, that was like a running joke in my family, was that I was the milkman's daughter. It was, and but not for the same reasons that you were. Mine was because my mom had a crush on the milkman.
Mine is, I'm learning, is that it's because my mom didn't actually have me with the man that she was supposed to have. So technically, it could have been the milkman's.
Oh, fuck.
It's crazy.
But it's true.
Yikes.
Like I got 90s in my healthcare aid, and like not one I'm proud of you, or not one I'm so glad you did so well. None of that. Like, and so as a child, it's just as damaging too, seeing your parents do that.
Right.
But
I
it is
always
a lot
ask
harder to
My
leave.
kids, if they were raised in a barn.
Yeah, but that's probably just because your house is dirty and you're like, where'd this come from?
It's when you don't close the door, right? Isn't that what it is? If they don't close door.
Oh my God, it's everything. You know, like when my son eats a bowl of cereal, he has like a trail of cereal all down the counter.
Oh, that's a boy thing, I think.
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna say it's something about the penis that makes it so you can't pour the cereal without it going on the counter. It sets off the balance or something.
Oh, it's so funny. All
But
the
like I've
time.
said too, right? Like I've had to get up at 9 a.m. and do all the house chores, and the bathroom had to be perfect. If it wasn't to their liking, I had to go back and clean it
Yeah.
all over again. So it's just as damaging too for a child
Oh,
watching.
for sure.
Jesus, my kids don't even know what it's like to do a dish, let alone clean a bathroom.
I had my kids doing chores, like,
Yeah. No, it's good.
and it was because I would always tell them, I'm like, I want your wives to like me.
Yeah,
So
my
you
kids'
need to
wives
clean
are-
the bathroom.
My kids' wives are gonna hate me. I already know this.
See,
It's
my
all
kids
good.
my kids will do it on their own if they want to, but I don't ask them to very often because my OCD ass
Yes,
goes crazy.
yes.
And I'm like, I can't.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
Then you got to go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell my husband load the dishwasher, and then I got to go back and do it again. So I'm just like, just leave it. I'll do it.
But
That's
see,
how I
okay.
am.
But see, my theory is oh, we were going to do a whole episode on that. What is it? It's weaponizing incompetence, right? So, and kids are great at it. So they're like,
So are husbands.
exactly. That's the whole, right? They learn as kids and then they just keep doing it. And it's basically, okay, I'll vacuum, but I don't know how. Or they just do a real shitty job. So you're like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Weaponizing incompetence.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
See, like my son cleaned the bathroom once for me, and as much as it drove me crazy, I left it. He cleaned the bathroom. I took it with a grain of salt, and then the next week I was like, I'll clean it.
See, they had to clean their own bathroom. I don't give a shit if you didn't do it very good because I'm not using it. So,
Well, they use mine anyways. It's
oh
not
yeah,
like
see,
they
my
use
kids
it,
never have used.
but I was like, I let them do it so they can like learn how to do it. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, the next week I was just like, if you don't ask, it's perfect. I'll just do it. But then that's because I grew up where I had the white glove going through. So
I mean, I have struggled with that balance of like my OCD allowing me to let them do it their way. That it's really hard, but that's how they learn, right?
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You want their wives to like you.
No, they'll always like me. They may not like their
But they're
husband.
not gonna like you if they're like, why don't you know how to do this? And they'll be like, because my mom never made me. And they're like,
Oh, don't
fuck.
worry. I will fully pre-warn them before they marry my son. It's all good. They will know. They will know what they are walking into. Okay.
Then I'm satisfied with that
And
answer.
then they can't hold it over my head. I'll be like, I told you, I warned you that this
Yep.
was gonna happen.
anger management issues harm a relationship because unregulated anger creates fear, instability, and emotional unsafety, even when there is no physical violence. Over time, anger becomes a tool of control, not communication. We all should feel comfortable enough with a partner or friend to tackle difficult subjects without fearing for our safety. Anyone, man or woman, who uses anger as an intimidation tactic is displaying toxic behavior. Emotional safety disappears when a partner has poor anger control. You never know what will set them off. Normal conversations feel risky, and you brace for reactions instead of expressing yourself. Emotional safety is the foundation of trust and intimacy. Without it, connections wither. You learn to walk on eggshells. You may start choosing words carefully, avoiding certain topics, or suppressing your needs. Self-censorship slowly erases your voice and identity. Anger replaces communication. Anger outbursts often include yelling, swearing, or intimidation, shutting down or storming off, or explosive reactions to small issues. Problems don't get resolved. They get buried or escalate. They often put the blame on you instead of taking responsibility for their actions, saying things like, "You made me angry," "If you didn't push my buttons," and "You know how I get." You begin believing their anger is your responsibility. Many relationships fall into a cycle of blow up and calm. Tensions start building, anger explosions, apology or justifications, and then a temporary calm. The unpredictability keeps you emotionally on edge and bonded to the cycle. Power and control dynamics form. Anger can become a way to end conversations, get compliance, or silence disagreements. Fear replaces mutual respect, creating an imbalance of power. Living with unmanaged anger can lead to long-term mental health impacts like anxiety, depression, vigilance, and loss of confidence. Your nervous system stays in survival mode even during good times. Children are affected even if they are not targeted. They absorb tension and fear. They may model anger as communication, and they can develop anxiety or people-pleasing behaviors. Kids don't need to be yelled at to be harmed by anger in the home.
That just sounds, again, awful. Like to live with someone that has anger. I mean, I have little anger outbursts when I can't like open a jar. I lose my shit. But it's never at anybody else. It's always, I'm like, why are you so fucking tight? This is ridiculous. Like, I lose it over stupid shit like that. But it's like, I would never at anybody else. Like, I'm always like, if I'm mad at me because I'm too little and can't open shit. It's normally jars. My reaction to not being able to open the jam is so out there and ridiculous. But I could not imagine getting angry at somebody else all the time for stuff. Like,
No. I just get mad when I'm driving, that's all. Because nobody knows how to drive.
right? Okay, little funny story about that. So I used to yell, merge! Like when people wouldn't merge, I would yell merge and be so angry. I'm like, merge, like fucking merge. My oldest was like maybe 3, and he stubbed his toe and he yells, merge! It was the funniest thing. I was like, ah, oh, you think that means something else? That's so cute. So funny.
Aw, so cute.
Right? Oh, I miss him being so little. God damn it. Fucking time had to move so goddamn fast.
I know, it did. Codependency is harmful in a relationship because it blurs boundaries, replaces mutual support with emotional dependence, and slowly erodes both people's sense of self. It can feel like deep love or loyalty, but underneath it creates imbalance, burnout, and resentment. In codependent dynamics, you lose your sense of self. Your mood depends on theirs, your needs become second, and your identity becomes the helper, the fixer, or the caretaker. Healthy relationships are made of 2 whole people, not one person disappearing to keep the other afloat. Anxiety becomes the default. Codependency often includes fear of abandonment, constant reassurance seeking, and ever monitoring your partner's emotions. You live in emotional survival mode instead of security. Codependency can involve enabling harmful behavior, covering up problems, making excuses for bad behavior, absorbing consequences that aren't yours. It prevents growth and allows unhealthy patterns to continue. Love gets confused with sacrifice. You may believe that enduring pain proves love. Saying no is selfish, or leaving equals failure. Love shouldn't require self-erasure or suffering to be valid. In codependent relationships, self-worth depends on being needed. You feel valuable only when needed. You feel guilty prioritizing yourself, or boundaries feel threatening. Your worth becomes conditional instead of inherent. Communication becomes indirect or dishonest. To avoid conflict, you may suppress resentment, hint instead of asking directly, or say yes when you mean no. Unspoken needs turn into resentment and emotional distance. Power imbalances form. Codependency often creates one person overgiving, one person overtaking, and unequal emotional labor. Relationships require reciprocity, not rescue missions. Burnout and resentment are inevitable. Over time, the caregiver feels drained and unseen, and the dependent partner feels smothered or incapable. What starts as closeness ends in frustration and emotional collapse.
Conflict avoidance. This is me. It's harmful in a relationship because unresolved issues don't disappear. They go underground where they quietly turn into resentment, emotional distance, and loss of trust. Avoiding conflict may keep the peace short term, but it damages the relationship long term. Problems never get resolved when conflict is avoided. Issues are minimized or ignored. Concerns are brushed off or postponed. And "it's fine" replaces honesty. Unspoken problems pile up, making small issues feel huge later. Avoiding conflict often means emotional needs go unmet. When you are not asking for what you need, suppressing hurt or disappointment, or prioritizing peace over truth, your needs don't disappear. They turn into frustration, sadness, or numbness. Resentment builds quietly. Conflict avoidance sounds like calm, but underneath you keep score. You feel underappreciated and you feel unheard. Resentment poisons closeness and eventually shows up as withdrawal or anger. You lose your voice over time. You may stop sharing opinions, agree just to avoid tension, or shrink to maintain harmony. A relationship that requires silence for stability isn't emotionally safe. Emotional distance grows. Without healthy conflict, conversations stay surface level. Vulnerability feels risky and intimacy fades. Real closeness requires honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. It reinforces power imbalances. If one partner avoids conflict more than others, the louder voice wins. Decisions become one-sided, and one partner adapts while the other dominates. Equality can't exist when one person consistently swallows their truth. Anxiety replaces peace. Avoiding conflict often leads to overthinking, fear of rocking the boat, or walking on eggshells. Calm based on fear isn't peace. It's emotional suppression. Kids learn the wrong lessons. Children may learn emotions should be hidden, problems shouldn't be discussed, and silence equals harmony. They may grow up unable to express needs or handle disagreements. That's me. That's me.
Is it really?
Oh, fuck yeah. I don't know. I just don't want conflict. I'm not afraid of conflict. Like, if I'm out in public and I had like conflict with like a stranger, let's say, whatever, I'm going to stand my fucking ground. I'm not messing around. But my little bit of ground I got, I'm standing there. But I don't know, like our relationship, I guess both of us do it really. We just don't want the conflict. We don't want to fight. We just avoid it. But I wouldn't say in like an unhealthy way. I don't have built up resentment. Part of having a shitty memory is you often forget. why you're pissed off. So I don't know. Like,
I do that all the time. I have
right?
like a falling out with a friend and we don't talk for years. I'm like, I don't remember what we fought about.
Yeah. It
I don't
doesn't
ever
even take that
remember.
long for me.
Constant jealousy is harmful in a relationship because it replaces trust with fear and control, slowly turning connection into surveillance, tension, and emotional exhaustion. What may start as caring or protective behavior often becomes a pattern that damages both partners and the relationship itself. It is natural to feel jealous when your partner or friend is spending a lot of time with others. However, that is not an excuse to let it cloud your judgment. It destroys trust instead of building it. Jealousy is rooted in suspicion. You may notice accusations without evidence, constant questioning, or doubting innocent interactions. Trust is the foundation of intimacy. When jealousy dominates, trust never has room to grow. It creates chronic anxiety. Living with constant jealousy often means you're explaining yourself repeatedly, anticipating accusations, and monitoring your own behavior to avoid conflict. You stay in fight or flight mode, which takes a toll on mental and physical health. It erodes self-esteem. Jealous behavior often sends the message you can't be trusted, you're doing something wrong, or you must constantly prove your loyalty. You begin doubting your worth and integrity even when you've done nothing wrong. It leads to control and isolation. Constant jealousy often escalates into monitoring your phone or social media, limiting who you can see or talk to, and creating tension around friends, coworkers, or family. Isolation makes you more dependent and less supported. Classic signs of unhealthy dynamic. You lose freedom to be yourself. You may start dressing differently, avoiding harmless interactions, or shrinking your personality to keep the peace. A relationship that requires self-erasure or harmony isn't emotionally safe. Jealousy becomes a tool of power. Jealousy can be used to shut down conversations, end arguments, I'm jealous, so you're wrong, or justify controlling behavior. Fear replaces mutual respect, creating a power imbalance. Communication breaks down. Instead of healthy dialogue, you get defensiveness, repeated reassurance cycles, and conversations that go nowhere. Real issues never get addressed, only symptoms are managed. Resentment builds over time. Even if you comply at first, you feel unfairly accused. You feel untrusted and you feel emotionally drained. Resentment slowly kills affection and intimacy. It also affects children. They may learn that love equals possession, feel responsible for managing adult emotions, or grow up anxious or hyper aware. Kids absorb relationship dynamics even when no one explains them.
I feel like I know we're like, excuse me.
I'm like, no.
I think there's a difference between being jealous and knowing within yourself that your jealousy is your own issues and that we're not going to put them on our spouse. Like, and I've explained this to my husband so many times. I am constantly jealous, but that's a me problem, not a you problem. I trust you. So it's something I have to work on. And I never put that on him. It was never, you can't be friends with, you can't talk to, you can't. It was not that. It was just me having issue. And I knew that. And I don't know, I didn't put it on him. Do you know what I mean? Like, not like this. I think there's a difference between if I was to say, you cannot talk to other girls, you cannot have friends that are girls. I want to see your phone. I wasn't that way. I don't give a shit. Like, talk to whoever, be friends with whoever. You're not, my boundary is where I don't want you going out for coffee or dinner with another female because fuck, that's just weird. Like, but you can still be friends with and talk to. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Does that
your
make
husband's
sense?
lucky. Mine's not so lucky. He's not allowed to talk to any girls. I
Realistically,
don't care unless it's his mother, okay?
well, realistically, it was mainly females that he worked with, and they would like go for lunch like as a group. And I didn't want him to be like, I'm sorry, my wife says I'm not allowed to go because there's a girl there. Like,
Oh,
I didn't want to
yeah,
be like
no.
that, right?
No. It's not
But
like that. No.
if he would have said, me and this person are going out for lunch, just the two of us, I'd have been like, the fuck?
No,
I don't think
not
so.
happening. No, not happening.
But I also would not do that to him. I wouldn't be like, hey, me and my friend Bob, whatever, are going for lunch. Now we are in a different place. This was when we were a lot younger and I wasn't. Now I'm like, if he was to say, like, him and his work, I don't know, if him and his secretary or whatever went out for lunch, I'd be like, okay, have a good time. And there was a lot of growth there. Like when I was younger, I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
It was
that's
like,
how I
no
am.
fucking way. But I think now that we're older, I can understand a lot more. And I say this more because I do have friends that are male, but they also are married. Like it's not that it's
I've
there's
had
no
lots of
weird-
male friends.
Yeah, and I guess I'm lucky he does
I'm a
not have.
hypocrite.
Oh,
Okay,
same.
how fully
I am
admit it.
I am trying not to say that. I'm trying to go. I'm dancing around that word.
I am a hypocrite.
Like my darts team is all men and me. So there is 4 men and myself. And we have a great time and they're all married men. There is no situation there at all. Like it but if my husband was like, I am on a darts team with 4 females, I'd be like, the fuck you are.
Exactly.
Like, absolutely not.
Exactly.
So I am a bit of a hypocrite. But I also would have no problem with him if he was like, I'm now coming to darts with you and I don't want you to go by yourself. For sure. No problem. You can come and watch, whatever. I have tried to get him to come and watch. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not worried. And obviously there is no reason for any worry. It just, yeah, it doesn't work both ways. I'm sorry.
No, it just doesn't. That's just the way it is. Sorry, husband. That is just the
Right?
way it is.
And I'm sure so
The way
many
it is.
females are like, "Oh my God, you two are not." Yeah,
we are.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We're good.
Fully admit
I
it.
mean,
I'm nuts.
that's how our relationships work. If your relationship works differently, that's totally
It's
fine.
fine, but I've been with my husband for almost 25 years. He deals with me, and
Yeah.
he still loves me. So
Yeah, we're
it's my
30
proof.
years, and I mean, I don't know. We'll ask him in a couple of days if he's still. I know he's so good. Like, it's just the way, and I think that comes down to it, especially not. It's different when you're talking about like substance abuse, physical abuse, that kind of thing. That's not the same. When it comes to stuff like this, is there an understanding in your relationship? Are both parties okay with how the dynamics work? That's the difference, right? When it comes to like the jealousy or what was the other one? One that we just, there was another one that we just read, and I'm like, oh, the conflict avoidance. If both parties are the same, then I think there's a different.
You know what? My husband avoids conflict. I do not, and he does.
Yeah.
So my son got pulled over and got a speeding ticket. And my husband's like, do you want to fight it? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why not, right? Because we can try fighting it and reduce his demerits and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. He's like, I'll call the ticket guy. And I'm like, he's like, my friends use this ticket guy. So he's like, I'll just drop him a text. I'm like, okay. So then he goes to his phone and he starts texting him. And I'm like, why do you have his phone number? Like, why do you have his phone number right now? Right?
Yeah.
Like thinking that he had to ask his friends, and he's like, I'm like, you little shit. I'm like, you've used him and you didn't tell me. He's like, right? Like, because he doesn't want me to get mad at him because he knows I'm going to get mad at him. And I'm going to throw that shit in his face every day that I'm a better driver than him. Right? So anyways, he got a ticket. There was a cop behind him. So somebody wasn't like going when they were supposed to go. So he got frustrated, went around them and went.
Yeah.
And he happened to go through a red light. And as he was going through that red light, there was a pedestrian crossing.
Oh no.
So he got a red light and failure to stop for a pedestrian. And it was like I don't know, $1,200 ticket.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, and he never told me. So, but then he told me when I found, because I'm like, why are you texting that guy? How do you have his phone number, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so he admitted it to me. So now we all know I'm the better driver. So let's just put that out there for all of the world to know. He sucks, and I'm the better driver. But yeah, there's that. He avoids conflict. He's like, I didn't want to tell you. He's like, because you would get mad. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get mad. I'm like, you got to calm the fuck down, right?
See, I
But
don't think I would have got mad about that. I would have been like, oh, sucks to suck.
yeah,
I guess that's how I avoid conflict.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
mm,
But you know what? I'm always like, because he's so anti-government, and I'm
yeah,
like, you're basically throwing your money at them, being like, here, government, take all my money.
yeah, but that probably wasn't his
Like, you're a
intentions, though.
bomber. You know how many speeding tickets this guy's gotten?
I mean, I'm only
All right.
defending him because me too. Actually, I haven't had a lot, but
I'm like, I'm not getting a ticket. I don't like the government. They're not getting my money.
see, that doesn't cross my mind though. When I got my speeding ticket, I was like, I'm going there fast. Like it was never a case of like, I'm not going to speed because the government will get my money. It's all, I'm
I
in
need
a
to get there.
hurry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
left my house too late. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I get it. Gaslighting is harmful in a relationship because it attacks your sense of reality, self-trust, and emotional safety. Over time, it doesn't just cause confusion, it can fundamentally change how you see yourself and the world. Gaslighting is a common manipulation tactic and a red flag in any relationship. It is an insidious form of emotional abuse in which the manipulator will make you question your own sanity or judgments. It makes you doubt your own reality. Gaslighting often sounds like, that never happened. You're remembering it wrong. You're overreacting. You're imagining things. That's what my husband says to me a lot.
Oh no.
That's it. Okay. You stop trusting your memory, instincts, and perceptions and start relying on your partner to define reality. It erodes self-trust and confidence. When your experiences are constantly invalidated, you second-guess yourself. You feel unsure making decisions. You seek reassurance for things you once knew. Self-trust is essential for autonomy and emotional health. Gaslighting slowly dismantles it. It creates chronic anxiety and confusion. You may feel mentally foggy, constantly on edge, or afraid of being wrong. Living in confusion keeps your nervous system in a constant state of stress and self-doubt. It shifts blame away from the abuser. Gaslighting reframes problems so that their harmful behavior is denied. You're portrayed as the issue, or accountability disappears. Problems never get resolved because the truth is never acknowledged. It undermines emotional safety. Healthy relationships require validation, honest communication, and respect for each other's experiences. Gaslighting replaces these with dismissal, minimization, and psychological manipulation. You stop feeling safe to express emotions or raise concerns. It creates a power imbalance. The gaslighter positions himself as the authority on what really happened, the rational one, or the one who gets to define truth. Control replaces equality, and one person's reality dominates the relationship. You start silencing yourself to avoid confusion or conflict. You may stop bringing up concerns, avoid expressing feelings, or tell yourself it's not worth it. Self-silencing leads to emotional disconnection and loss of identity. Prolonged gaslighting can lead to long-term psychological effects like anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, difficulty trusting others, and difficulty trusting yourself. The effects often last long after the relationship ends.
I think there again, there's a difference between gaslighting versus being married to a female in their mid 40s that may have memory issues. Right? Like Sophia, when you said your husband often says stuff that
Yeah,
like
he
that
does.
to you, it could simply be that you forget things or whatever, right? Like it's not necessarily gaslighting. I think
No, he's not gaslighting
no.
me.
I think when it
I don't
comes
think
to
he is.
like a
Yeah.
constant thing or things that work in their favor,
Yeah.
that's when I think the issue is, right? Like if you
My husband is the older one, and he's the one with the memory problems. So
Oh, so you get
that's
to
likely
gaslight him.
why. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's probably like, wait, you're seeing it all wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't even remember it. So why? Oh, it's so funny. He has a terrible memory. So do I. We both do. So
Yeah, me too.
so we unintentionally gaslight each other. There you go.
And I think that honestly probably happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like especially as we get older, we do this without intention,
Hmm.
and it's because that's how we remember it.
Yeah,
Doesn't necessarily mean we're trying to be manipulative or anything,
exactly.
but it's just
Exactly.
that's what we remember.
Love bombing is harmful because it creates an intense emotional high that bypasses trust, boundaries, and real connection. It often feels like deep love, but it's actually emotional manipulation that sets the stage for control, dependency, and abuse. It creates false intimacy. Love bombing involves over the top affection, constant texting or calling, and grand gestures early on. Real intimacy takes time. Love bombing rushes attachment before trust is earned. It rewires emotional attachment. The intense attention causes dopamine surges, emotional highs, rapid bonding, and emotional dependency. You can become attached to the feeling, not the person. Power and control are established early. After the intense phase, attention is withdrawn, rules and expectations appear, and you feel pressure to earn affection. The imbalance keeps you chasing the version of them from the beginning. It makes boundaries feel like rejection. Because affection was overwhelming, normal boundaries feel cold. Slowing down feels like loss, and saying no feels wrong. Healthy love respects boundaries. Love bombing ignores them. It creates an addictive push-pull cycle, often followed by emotional withdrawal, criticism or devaluation, and intermittent affection. This cycle is emotionally addictive and destabilizing. It erodes self-trust. Victims often doubt their instincts, question whether they're too sensitive, and feel confused by mixed signals. Confusion keeps people stuck longer than clarity would. It often precedes emotional or narcissistic abuse. Love bombing is commonly used by people with narcissistic traits, control issues, and fear of abandonment. It's not about love, it's about securing attachment fast.
But what about the red flags we romanticized? The things that are super romantic in the movies, but in real life are huge red flags? Hallmark has made millions from it. The trope, a focused, proud, educated career woman gives up everything they've built and poured years of effort and tears into for romance. It's not realistic and honestly pisses me off. If it's love, your lives will intertwine, not force you into its family's Christmas tree farm as the accountant for all 12 customers in 2 counties. The plots of some of your favorite movies are huge red flags. Twilight. So Twilight, the relationship between Bella and Edward is frequently criticized for romanticizing controlling behavior and stalking. As Edward often watches Bella sleep. Aw.
Right? He's like a little psycho, but
Yeah.
it was so sweet.
It was so sweet. Not really. Dictates who she can see and isolates her from others under the guise of protection. Fantasy love stories are an enduring trend, especially among YA readers and viewers. Over the 5 films based on Stephenie Meyer's Twilight series, fans watched Bella Swan and Edward Cullen's relationship go from awkward high school encounters to marriage to vampire babies. There's an inherent age difference when it comes to immortal beings and humans. But the massive age gap between the 104-year-old vampire pretending to be a teenager and the actual teenage girl is creepy. Like many on this list, Edward has zero respect for Bella's boundaries. He consistently stalks her, watches her sleep, and does plenty of gaslighting, trying to isolate her from family and friends. Jacob Black similarly feels intensely protective of Bella and expresses his feelings in unhealthy ways. 50 Shades of Grey story. So, 50 Shades of Grey, this franchise, is often cited for glamorizing abuse and non-consensual dynamics. The male lead exhibits extreme possessiveness, control, and coercion, which are presented as elements of an intense, passionate romance rather than abuse. E.L. James' Twilight fanfiction turned best-selling book series and the subsequent film trilogy have received heavy backlash for the inaccurate portrayal of BDSM and its overall glamorization of toxic relationships. Christian Grey may be handsome and successful, but as Anastasia Steele quickly learns, he's also incredibly possessive, controlling, and jealous. He stalks her, continuously showing up unannounced and inserting himself into every aspect of her life before he pressures her into signing a contract. In other words, Christian is the king of red flags, but Anna falls for him anyway. 50 Shades is far from romantic, and this glorification of an unhealthy relationship that doesn't value consent is actually dangerous. And let's face it, if Christian Grey wasn't rich, if he lived in a trailer park, it would be an episode of Criminal Minds.
Yeah, it would be.
Right? Okay, so that one is way worse than Twilight, I will say. None of that shit, none of that sexual stuff in those books is realistic, okay? It's just not. So anybody using that for learning tools? No.
No, don't do it.
No. So I remember like when they first came out and stuff, I was like, okay, well now I got to see what this is like because it's Twilight fan fiction, right? I get the book and I'm reading it in bed. And my husband's like, oh, fuck yeah. This is gonna be great. You're gonna learn all this cool stuff. I've heard about this book. This is gonna be amazing. And I'm like, okay. Let's see. And I'm reading it and I'm reading it and I'm like, bullshit. That doesn't fucking happen. Fuck off the whole way through. And he's like, ugh, never mind. I'm not excited anymore. I'm like, honestly, it's complete bullshit. None of that shit happens.
Doesn't.
And it like a holy, if you want a guidebook of how bad controlling relationships are, that one is great. It'll teach you how not to have a relationship.
All right, The Notebook. Well considered an iconic love story, critics point out problematic aspects, such as Noah's grand gesture of threatening suicide if Allie won't go on a date with him, and the couple's overall volatile argument-fueled dynamic.
I cannot stand that movie. I'm sorry.
No.
It's the worst movie. It is not romantic at all. Ugh, terrible movie. Sorry.
Grease is a lively rom-com based on the equally fun musical, but there's no doubt that its depiction of relationships is concerning. After Danny and Sandy have a summer fling that turns into a tumultuous on-off high school relationship, however, maintaining his bad boy reputation turns out to be more important to him than rekindling the romance. They briefly make up and Danny attempts to force himself on her at the drive-in, and they part again. He then tries to go from a greaser to a jock, and soft-spoken Sandy becomes a leather-clad bad girl, but in the end he simply wears a different jacket while she gets a head-to-toe makeover and starts smoking. Becoming a different person for a guy isn't something to strive for.
It's not, but I do like that movie.
I do like that movie too.
Some of these movies are they just didn't age well.
Yeah.
Right? And don't take them as relationship advice.
Yeah.
Take them as entertainment. Right?
Love Actually. This beloved rom-com is considered a feel-good holiday classic. But as we've realized over the past 2 decades, almost all of these relationships are problematic. Both Harry and David develop feelings for their female employees, Mia and Natalie, respectively. Harry's also married, by the way, and keeping with the theme of power imbalances, Jamie falls for his housekeeper, Arola, despite not speaking the same language. They've hardly spoken each other and definitely don't know one another well enough to immediately get engaged. Mark, a Joe Goldberg level creep, is in love with Juliet, who just married his supposed best friend Peter. He expresses his feelings by always being rude to her up until the film's most memorable moment, which is bizarre and not romantic at all. 10 Things I Hate About You. The central relationship begins when Patrick is paid to date Kat as part of a manipulative scheme. While the characters develop genuine feelings, the foundation of deceit and manipulation is a significant red flag.
Yeah, honestly, most movies are, right?
Yeah.
Most movies, like,
Well, they're just movies, right?
Yeah.
They're not real life.
people
so-
look too much into them. So
Yeah.
interpreting unhealthy, toxic relationship behaviors, red flags, as signs of deep love, passion, or commitment, often due to media influences, past trauma, or low self-esteem, leading people to excuse controlling actions or emotional unavailability or possessiveness as romantic rather than harmful. This involves mistaking intensity for intimacy, obsession for devotion, and instability for excitement, blinding individuals to the negative reality of the relationship. So, if the guy you're dating or girl you're dating or whatever is a dick, don't date him. People have baggage. Everybody does. And
They do.
yeah, you got to decide what baggage you're okay with, what behaviors you're okay with. Some you just definitely shouldn't be okay with, like physical, emotional abuse, that type of thing. But also remember, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
kind of like the movie 50 Shades of Grey.
Did you?
Seen
But,
it. I've never seen
I've
it.
I've read all the books and I've watched all the movies. If you want another kind of better 50 Shades of Grey, read Bared to You.
Okay.
It's a little bit nicer, like same lines, but so much easier to read.
Yeah. I just personally, I don't care for romance stuff.
Yeah.
My
I'm not a
movies,
fan.
yeah, I like shit to get blown up.
I like hauntings and ghosts
yeah,
and the devil.
right? Blood, guts, and gore.
I don't want to watch people fall in love and kiss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely not my
I'm not a
thing.
love movie kind of gal.
I find it's just such bullshit. And I know like a movie is meant to be an escape from reality and all that stuff. And some of them I watch and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it helps if you got a hot guy in it. That's fine. Like I really don't like Nicholas Sparks at all. Ugh. Fuck. But there's one movie that happens to have Zac Efron in it, and he is delicious. So that movie, I'm like, okay, I will watch that one. But most of them, I'm like, eh.
I like 17 again. That one's like kind
Oh,
of
I loved that
romantic and
movie. That movie was
like,
great.
I can watch that movie over and over and over again, right? I have
Yeah.
watched it over and over and over again, but
Yeah,
and it's kind of a romance, but I
right.
loved that movie.
That is a
Loved it.
great movie.
Yeah.
I think I just like stuff that's more than like, look how much we love each
Yeah.
other. I
And
don't
Knocked
care.
Up. Knocked Up is kind of a romance movie. Have
Yeah,
you
that
seen
one's not so bad. Yeah.
That one's funny too. I like that one too. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like them to have humor in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sad.
No.
No thanks. I don't like being sad.
Have you seen the new Freakier Friday?
No, not yet.
It's out,
Right.
I think, on Crave or Amazon now that you can just watch it.
It was on, where did I see it? Maybe it was Amazon.
Yeah, it's
Or
on something now,
Netflix
but
or
you don't
something,
have to
yeah.
pay for it. You could just watch it. It's pretty much the same as Freaky Friday, just
Yeah.
they're older now.
Yeah.
I liked the first one. The first one was pretty funny.
Yeah, the first one was great.
It's the same with the second. It's just as good.
I like to watch a lot of true crime documentaries. So when I switch and watch a movie that's not a horror movie, I'm always like waiting for something like, exciting or like devastating to happen. And then I'm like, oh, you guys just love each other. Eh. But then a good musical comes on. I'm like, I love
Oh, I hate
this.
musicals. I hate musicals. Oh, they're terrible.
It depends on what the musical is, but for the
No.
most part, I like them.
They are my most least favorite kind of movie. Is a musical.
Really, you'd rather
Yeah.
watch like a romance than a musical? At
Oh,
least a
I would
musical,
rather,
it's like
I would rather vomit with a romance than sit through a musical and stab my eyes out with pitchforks. Like, no, don't like them at all.
I like them.
The moment they start singing, the movie's changed.
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh, it does
done.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am multiple personalities all rolled into one. Blow shit up, kill somebody, or sing a great catchy song. But don't love each other. Ew. So that's it for Moms on Mics this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Moms on Mics Podcast, on TikTok at Moms on Mics, and join our Facebook group, Moms on Mics.
If anyone has any topics you would like us to cover, or if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email us at momsonmics@gmail.com or submit through our website, momsonmics.com.
We would also appreciate it if you could rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps the podcast move up on their charts so it gets more exposure. I hope you join us again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.